So it sounds good. Is that because you got some custom work on it?
Yeah, it's got a custom cam, a bigger dual-barrel Weber carburetor, an Alquati intake manifold, who are some hot rodders back in the 70s. They used to play with these cars.
So it's putting out, what, 200 horsepower?
Yeah, at least 200 horsepower if you drop it out of an airplane.
More like 50, right?
More like 50 or 60.
All right, let's see it take off. Go for it. We're standing in front of what is probably the cutest, badass looking car that's ever come out of Italy. Tell me what this is and what year it is.
So this is a 1971
Yeah.
Fiat 850 sedan.
Okay.
This was actually considered the family sedan of the Fiat line back in '71, and it was their competition to the Mini Cooper.
So this is a Mini Cooper competitor.
Yeah.
With an engine in the front or in the back?
Engine in the back.
Yeah.
It's full rear engine, it's not mid-engine, so it handles, they used to call them the Widowmakers when you would try and race them.
Really?
Because at the limit, the car will spin.
Okay.
Rather than driving straight first into things.
And how long have you had it?
I've had this about 12 years.
Yeah.
I bought it really beat up and rusted and a mess, and I restored the whole car. I built a different engine for it, so it has 1,000 cc's in it
Instead of the
original 817.
All right, tell me about the fender flares.
So Fiat made two race car versions of this car with a 1,600 cc engine in it, and then one with a 2-liter engine in it. And because the standard wheels were too small and the engine was too wide, they widened the track of the car, and they put these giant rear wheels and fender flares on. And I loved the look of it, so I found a guy who made them out of metal, actually, and kind of hand hammered them.
Not fiberglass, they're actually fabricated out of metal.
Fabricated out of a bunch of metal. That guy hand welded them up.
How much time do you have in this car? How much did you put into it?
I wouldn't even want to know.
Really?
Yeah, I've probably invested twice what it was worth. It took me about 2.5 years to get it roadworthy.
Okay.
And driving.
So how much did you buy it for, if I don't?
I bought it for $400.
$400? How'd you get it for $400?
So it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like you could reach through a hole in the door and unlock it with the rust. So it was really terrible.
Where do you find parts for a 71 850?
You don't.
You don't. You got to fabricate them.
You fabricate stuff. There's a guy in California that can get you a good bit of things named Chris Obert.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to order stuff out of Italy.
Let's look at the inside of this. It's is that the original wooden steering wheel?
No, this is a Momo replacement.
Yeah, I thought it was.
The original was wood. It was a little thinner and a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And so this is more comfortable.
And I see you have the prerequisite ashtray back in
right.
71.
Right, which I don't know. I think all it would do is make the car burn down even faster, which is always a risk.
Walk me through some of those controls. They look pretty basic.
Yeah, there's not much going on. There's a hazard switch.
Yeah.
This runs the windshield washers.
Yeah.
And then to turn the lights on, you actually have to turn the switch on and then move the column stalk as well.
So you got a little toggle switch and a column switch. Yeah,
you got to go parking light or off, parking lights, high beams.
Where's your traction control button?
Right, that's my right foot and my 225 series tires on a car that weighs 1,400 pounds.
And tell me about the gearbox. How many gears?
It's a 4-speed.
Yeah.
And reverses pretty much works.
Okay, good.
It's geared, they say that top speed is 75 miles an hour. Yeah. I've seen 85 on the speedometer, but it took a really long time to get there.
And
it's sort of kind of a full throttle and just wait around for it to happen.
Let's open the engine. Let's check it out. Let's see what you got under the hood there. Or under the...
Yeah.
Under
the tail.
Tiny. Look at that.
So that's how you get in there.
that air cooled?
It's water cooled, and I put from the front. You'll notice there's a spare radiator, a secondary radiator under the nose.
Do they overheat because they're jammed into this basically coffin like?
In stock form, they're fine, and as soon as you modify the cars, the cooling system is inadequate.
Now I know that back in the day when they raced the Abarth, right, they used to have this kind of propped open,
right, to get good airflow through to the engines, and those were air cooled, so they were the Abarth 600s that you see that propped up on.
Did people actually race these? Was this something that in the 70s they would take on the track?
There were probably a couple, but they were, by that time, the Mini Cooper you could get with like a 1.4 liter or something, and this came with an 800, so they were starting to get outclassed a little bit in power. I think the first one was a 66 or 67, and 72 or 3 was the end.
Yeah, so you had like 6 years of production.
Yeah, and then they moved up to a car called the 128, which was front engine and much more modern until it rusted also.
Obviously Italian cars you're gonna have. Yeah. Now, how about this roof design? Is this something you did, or is this something?
I had it painted that way. The Fiat race cars, some of the Fiat factory race cars had the checkerboard roof.
Okay. All right,
and so I thought it would make it more fun.
Gotta look under the hood. Let's see what's under there. get the whole tamale.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a spare tire in here, but
maybe a hair, right?
But and that would sit right in the front. And when people put really big engines in them, they put a radiator here. And they lose that, but I've just got a little one hanging on the bottom, and then the battery's under here. But you could put a lot of grocery bags in there, and that's how they sold it. The advertisement, one of their advertisements was actually the front end filled with groceries and a whole family sitting in the car. To say like, hey, it's a family sedan, and you can drive it every day.
Yeah, I just don't see a Costco run on this. I'm sorry.
But I use it. I drive it all around the town, and I go on errands with it. And
how much do you think it's worth now?
I wouldn't sell it for under 16, but it's probably worth 12.
Yeah, but you got so much time and energy and love put into it that it's hard to...
Yeah, I've left a lot of blood stains on this car.
What's your favorite part of the car?
I just love the way it looks. It's so different. You never see yourself coming and going. People love it. They wave, they smile, they beep. It's got no pretensions. It's just this silly, hilarious little car.
That puts a huge smile on your face.
Yep, every time.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for sharing it with our viewers and readers. It's a really cool little Italian ride, and I hope it stays rust-free.
I do too.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.